still here?
Yes.
Yeah. When you go down there with your group, do you go down with law enforcement, and do they see anything that they can take action about?
Actually, Deputy Paoli shows up almost every time we call him. John McCown and I were floating the river and came upon the camp. Again, we were just shocked because, as you can see in the larger pictures, we had to blow those up for a billboard. It was horrible, and we had it spotless. Every year we clean it spotless, and we come back, and it just bothers me, not just the mess, but the fact that we can't get to the river with 95% of the river privately owned. If I want to take my dogs to the river or have sushi or whatever down there, we can't do it because it's not safe as well as unclean.
Well, my take on it is we probably need at the level of the Board of Supervisors, have a committee, whether it's Public Health Committee, whether it's General Government Committee, and put together something in the way of a task force.
I would be happy to take any of you or all of you down to the Talmadge Bridge or down the river in kayaks. If you want to just spend a day, give me a call. I'll leave you my phone number, and I'll show you where the problem areas are and what's going on. If anybody is welcome to go, I'd be happy to take you. I'll fix you a gourmet lunch.
Well, thank you for that, but thank you for your 2 decades of
Thank you.
sticking with it. It takes a
you.
lot of grit to do it.
Supervisor Delaware.
Thank you. Rebecca, don't apologize for the message, because your passion for this is incredible, and it's a shame that you have to spend your time doing it. It really is, but we are all better off that you are. And I have been down there. I didn't seen this lately, but I have been down there and I've seen similar stuff. A question I have for council is, 3 years ago maybe, we completely went
3 years
through
ago.
an anti-camping ordinance to strengthen this thing, to try to at least
Are you
put
talking about the Squaw Rock area or the Talmadge?
No,
No.
we
Talmadge.
since then.
Just since
Right.
then.
Since then, to try to clamp down and give law enforcement the tools that they need to try to help with this problem. And I think it's 600 feet, 500 on
Yeah.
both sides of the bridge, that on the public land, it's illegal to camp. Now, it's illegal on the private side, private land too. That's trespassing. But we did put that in this anti-camping ordinance. I don't know, council, if you remember when that was, but it wasn't that long ago. So an affirmation of what that.
Yeah, it was in 2005, my first year here.
Okay.
And we did go through and revamp the entire ordinance, and the Talmadge Bridge area is covered under the ordinance. And so is private property as well. So it's really, we have the enforcement tools, but does that really solve the problem?
Right. Well, once the ordinance was made at the Squaw Rock area, everything changed, like overnight. For years and years, we'd have 3-day family reunions and leave everything, their poop and everything there. And now we have the ordinance, but we don't have the enforcement. We have police on the highway in the towns, but it's my understanding we have one fish and game warden for the entire county. We don't have a river cop. And I can see where the landowners, Mike Hildreth is out right now. He started picking grapes at 10 o'clock last night. He can't be out. He can't go out there. Even the sheriff can't really go out there all that. And there's so many areas to cover. They've just created all these nooks and crannies. And wait till you see how much riparian growth they cut down and eroded the banks and cut the trees. And they had a baby out there living like a 7-month-old baby baking in the sun. They didn't have any protection. They probably, when John McCown and I, who is always there, by the way, I have to give him props because every year he helps me. He's out there all the time. He pulled all the shopping carts out. It was over 100 degrees out. They had this baby out there with no protection from the sun. They all appeared to be high on speed or I don't know what, but they were all spun out of their brains. One guy followed John and I around for half an hour demanding an apology because I said, "You all made this mess." And he said, "I didn't make it." So finally we apologized and said, "Just leave us alone." We were just going from camp to camp to camp, and and then we cleaned it up, and then Rotary cleaned it Friday. We floated on Saturday, and there was another mess. We took all 4 of us floaters to clean it up. So I'm hoping that we can all collaborate, and I'd also like us to say that Caltrans and Granite Construction have been tremendous. Since Parnham Paving, Bob McCraley used to give me money every year, access. Granite Construction does every cleanup. They help with every property. They bend over backwards. The same with Caltrans, but they just can't keep up. So thank you for addressing this, and we look forward to collaborating. Thank you.
Any additional?
No, I think the MSWA part of it will be a big help as well, but we'll see it on the enforcement side. So it's unlike Squaw Rock where law enforcement's driving by and they can pretty much see what's the vehicles that are there. They're lost down there, and they're out of sight, and in many cases they're out of mind as the law enforcement. And as you stated, Fish and Game is woefully understaffed as far as wardens go.
Right.
And
So that means it's up to all of us to do it. So there's somebody killed a dead animal. There's the smell by the Talmadge Bridge is so bad you can't even stand there. I think somebody tried to cook a deer. They probably poached a deer and tried to cook it, and there's a half dead deer there. It smells so bad, and just the graffiti and anyway. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, for everything, and Rotary, and Tim, you as well. Thank you.
Tim, a question. I posed a question to Ms. Kress. You've been there for generations.
Yes.
Has there been a recent increase in population at Talmadge Bridge and maybe down to Norgard Lane?
Yes, and we know why they're here.
Okay. So,
They're waiting for that job that's starting right now.
oh, okay.
Plus, an additional problem this year, we're having